Hey, bro.
Huh?
Let me ask you a question, man. Why you ain't change clothes, bro?
Let me ask you a question. Every time you see me, you gotta ask me a question like you 50 Cent asking people 21 questions.
But, bro, you gotta have some hygiene,
Let me
man.
ask you, did you take a bath last night?
Of course, and that's what I'm telling you, man. You gotta have some hygiene,
Well,
man.
congratulations, because I'm homeless and I don't have the luxury to take a bath every night and wash clothes like that. So be grateful for what you got and stop always talking about people and stuff. That's what's wrong with people. They always talking about people instead of trying to help them and stuff. Just thank God that you able to take a bath and change your clothes every night. I might have them on the next day and the next day and the next day. That's between me and God. You worry about yourself. Any more questions?
You good,
Oh,
bro.
all right, that one I thought. Have a blessed day.
You know one of the first things Black Americans did after slavery? We ran for office. Our ancestors were poor and illiterate for the most part, and still they stood up for us. Nowadays, these Black leaders stand up for everyone else but us. Listen, whether you're white, whether you're Black, whatever, if you feel that these current politicians are not doing right by you, then you run for office and you become the politician who would do right by the people and for yourself as well. Black Americans, we have fought in every single war this nation has had. We have fought for this country even when this country consistently fights against us. It is time for us to stand up and fight for ourselves. Republican, Democrats, neither one's done well for us. Let's replace every single last one of them. Let's run for office or they're going to keep running us over.
I am Greg Marcel Dixon, and I approve this message.
All right. Hopefully everybody can hear me just fine and dandy. Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official news break. And of course, this is the midweek report, as you know. So this is the midweek report news break mashup. And so, as you know how we do, we pretty much cover one topic. And this topic that we're covering tonight is about censorship, censorship's setbacks. And, it might be temporary as it may be, but nonetheless, we're going to talk about that this evening. But first, like I said, welcome to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially. And if you could do me a big favor and hit the like button, Also, share this on your social media if you would, so this message gets out and more people get drawn to this channel. So that always helps. So if you are a first-time viewer, you can go ahead and subscribe and you can join in to the chat. I set my chats up that way because there's a lot of bots that they have out here, and then they'll just be spamming the chat. So this cuts down on a lot of that, and you only get the interaction of the people who are with the topic. So with that being said, we're going to see who we have in the chat. Oh, also don't forget, hit the notification bell. Hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded. And you can also become a member of this channel as well. So first things first, we have our sister Judah Queen in the house. Welcome, my sister Judah Queen. We have Sidonian Snow in the house. Welcome, Sidonian Snow. Patricia Slade in the house. Jersey City in the building. B1 forever. We got Aquarius Minded in the house. Welcome. We got our brother Rose City in the house. What's going on, Rose? Yes, indeed. And we have Reginald Jeter in the house. Welcome, Reginald Jeter. We got Cyberdyne 100 in the house. Welcome. Our sister Tia to you is in the building. Yes, indeed. Welcome, our good sister. We got Karen Armstrong in the house. Black First, our good sister. And we have Rhonda Smith in the building as well. So salute to all of you who are in the building thus far. And, we're talking about if you have not, I see our sister Blueberry Muffins in the house. Yeah, Seattle checking in. All right. So we have your man. Just they put the brakes on Joe Biden, as it would seem. And there's a lot of things going on right now in the land of Joe Biden policies, which is good. It is very good for us. So, we see Quasi Black Star in the house. Welcome, Quasi Black Star. But before we get to these particular stories, as y'all know, we've had, the affirmative action for the Harvard students recently struck down. And one of the interesting things that's going on with this, okay, I see our brother Crew Reality in the house. What is going on? We're seeing a lot of outcry from other groups. As it turns out, subsequently, people are not feeling like they've really had the victory that they thought they did. And at the same time, other people didn't lose the way they thought they did. However, it's kind of, here's the thing that we always talk about: supremacy. And I'll say with the dominant society, supremacy at that. Known as white supremacy. When you have these elements at hand, what have we been taught? White supremacy breaks its tools. And can it use a whole group as a tool? Absolutely it can. Most definitely it can truly pull that one off. And so in this instance, that might be what is occurring. Who really knows? But it seems like some people might be getting hip. So with that being said, let me play this little clip here.
Affirmative action did not require discrimination against Asians. White-led institutions chose to discriminate against Asians in order to preserve white student enrollment. That courts have repeatedly held that affirmative action does not discriminate against white people shows that affirmative action can be implemented without discriminating against anyone. The idea that positive discrimination can only be implemented with corresponding negative discrimination is an example of how the myth of scarcity upholds white supremacy culture.
Don't say. You know, when I see stuff like that, that's what always cracks me up. Let me get that back. Because how quickly do people turn and, hey, well, you know, white supremacy and this, oh, you're calling them out now? I mean, because we've long known what the get down was in America. We're not new. By no means are we new here. However, let me share my screen here. Let me go here. Okay, just a second here, family, as I want to cue this up here. Let me see. I don't want to play all of that. Well, actually, you know what I will do? Hold on. Let me do this. I'm gonna play some of this, the audio, and then I want to read you a little bit of this first, though. So let me read to you this. It says the landmark Supreme Court decision handed down last week on affirmative action enraged media liberals and prompted sharp attacks on Asian American as tools of white supremacy and even white supremacists themselves. Well, who was out here railing against black people? Were they not? Were they not out here being absolutely blatantly anti-black? Now it now appears that Asians are white adjacent rather than legitimate minorities. Oh, stop. Stop. Hold on. Let me show you this. Okay. All right. That should be a whole screen. That the whole screen? Okay. Yeah, hopefully it is. All right. So anyway, the work of civil rights advocates is to protect every individual, regardless of their race. Edward Blum, founder and president of the Students for Fair Admissions, told Fox News Digital, "First off, brother, my Asian friend, you don't really get a chance to dictate to us what civil rights is about, since we're the ones that fought for it, and it's based off of our struggle. So it kind of eliminates your position if you don't understand that point." Here's another thing. People really believe they can come around to us and start rewriting history. Well, the civil rights is not about that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, friend? All of a sudden, civil rights ain't about race? What the hell are you talking about? We shall overcome. What are you talking about? I don't think so. Ahu Aman, welcome. You did. Lord. We see our sister Key Prince in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lord. Let's see. Cult-like personality in the building. I see you. Welcome. Welcome, cult-like personality. Grand salute and evening to all of you. Now, let me get back to this right quick. Let's see. Former CNN host Soledad O'Brien told Asian Wave Alliance President Yaiten Chu, who celebrated the overturning of affirmative action, "Congrats on screwing over other people of color, ma'am, particularly those whose efforts in civil rights paved the way for your family to come to America." Well, the Atlantic's Jamel Hill, another far-left personality, wrote to Chu, "Can't wait until your daughter reads that you gladly carried the water for white supremacy and stabbed the folks in the back whose people fought diligently for Asian Americans' rights in America." Yes, this is why people were telling other people they should hold their own nuts. But you said we were stupid. And now they've shown you where they stand. What choice will y'all now make? Because, you know, us stuck on stupid ones over here, us divisive ones over here, how divisive are we looking right now? Just how divisive are we looking right now? I'm just asking. So anyway, Go down. An NPR article Sunday that was panned by conservatives as an embarrassment framed Asians as an instrument of whites' conservative master plan to bring down affirmative action. Kind of sounds like something Professor Black Truth was actually talking about now, doesn't it? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This literally sounds like PBT. Like they're upset at what he was just exposing. If I didn't know any better, but whatever. In a piece not labeled opinion, the author referred to Asians representing the model minority myth and quoted liberal voices calling Asians a mask for white privilege. Another voice said the myth of affirmative action harming Asian Americans was rooted in anti-blackness. And yes, it absolutely is. Now, what's so funny, Jamel Hill accuses Asians of carrying the water for white supremacy for backing affirmative action plan, backing affirmative action decision. Ma'am, you most definitely can't complain about them carrying the water for white supremacy. You know, because this is not one of those times where you get to define the anti-black individuals that you don't like. This is when you have to call out all anti-blackness. So you would have to call it out into those same anti-black individuals that you've been carrying the water for against other black people for quite some time. So, I mean, you know, you might want to get to doing that part first. But nonetheless, Asians against affirmative action are not hard to find. You'd think they'd asked at least one to weigh in before proclaiming them dupes, podcast Katie Herzog wirely tweeted. Lord. Let me see. I want to see if I give me these. Oh my Lord. Okay, well that's pretty much all I really wanted to get at. So here are the people that are at the center of this controversy. Jamel Hill on the left, Soledad Bryan on the right, and Yaiten Chu, the one in the middle. Now, if you notice, remember, she reminds me, she's speaking just like that other lady that was sitting at that civil rights. They're literally in a meeting for civil rights, and they are, I mean, we're faces for white supremacy. You're not just faces for it, you're voices. You don't get up there and start making up lies and using Stormfront statistics to start representing the black community. That shows a great, I would say, deception. And there's some definitions or words or names that the definition would actually be deceiver. So, I mean, that's something to just keep in mind, you understand? But nonetheless, Jamel Hill is doing this because, and again, she's carrying the water. This, let's not think that she's over here doing some righteous crusade. Oh, no. This is about Biden's agenda and her making sure she carries the water for this guy. So all she's doing is going at the acceptable party, as they always do. Oh, well, the writer, they're so stupid. Oh, they're so off. As long as it's okayed by the powers that be, then they'll be able to do that. But if they're not, things might get funky around them parts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at all these people getting fired from ESPN. And then all these other black executives who keep getting knocked out the paint. I mean, it is happening left and right. Boy, there is no shelter. You understand me? Now, real quick, to on another quick pivot, we got to go to this other story, which really just don't make no sense to me. I'm kind of confused. No, hold on. Because I got to get this queued up for you, family. Hold on. This shooting in Philadelphia, it's being reported really superly janky. I can't help but notice the what they're going, like when they said gunman, I'm like, wait a minute. But we're going to get to that. I just, it's just very interesting that, when these, what was it? What's the other shooter? That the school shooter. Notice that these events are taking place around schools. One could possibly say that there might quite possibly be an agenda against children from a certain community. Soledad O'Brien, she's one of them mixed passers. I got some of them in my family, so I know what that. Yeah, she was Afro-Cuban, and she's not FBA. That's for no, she's not FBA, but yeah, she got the Afro-Cuban in her. Pretty much like Mariah Carey. She is a tanner Mariah Carey. Oh, man. Now, like I said, they're shooting in Philadelphia. They keep talking about the gunman. Okay, well, I understand about the gunman. Yeah, very interesting. I can't help but notice when they say gunman. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get this in there. Let me show y'all this. So this is the gunman. Yeah. This picture right here. Yeah. But it's also this fella here. So, who knows what they're identifying as? It's just kind of interesting. So they're saying gunman. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. However, just can't help but notice when the transgender is black, that whole protection of gender flew right out the window. So let's get into a little bit of this story, shall we? because yeah. Yeah. Woo. Boy, this is a doozy, ain't it? Good Lord. All right, let me get this queued up over here. Good grief. This is a beast. All right, let me get this in here.
Investigation into that mass shooting in King Sussing. Today, the 40-year-old suspect, Kim Brady Carricker, was charged with the murder of 5 people. Carricker also faces a slew of charges related to 5 survivors of the rampage. New details have also emerged about the suspect's mental state and his arsenal of weapons.
Now, notice that the gendering is immediate. You feel me? The gendering is immediate here. Like, wait a minute, ain't this brother's? I just showed you the other pictures. So what is this brother identifying as? What's going on there? You know, we might be missing something here. That's why I wanted to show you those pictures first. And then again, okay, this is how they're presenting the story, though.
This as family members of the victims continue to grieve their sudden and senseless loss. Action News reporter Maggie Kent is live tonight with more. Maggie.
Well, Rick, we heard from investigators who took Carricker into custody, allegedly responsible for killing those 5 people in Concessing on Monday. He was heavily armed, also wearing a bulletproof vest. And when they started to search his home, they found more weapons, ammunition, and a will dated June 23rd, less than 2 weeks before the shooting.
Well, that's very interesting. Now, let's go back. When one of the last mass shootings happened, do y'all remember when they were doing, what was it, Trans Day of Visibility was also the Trans Day of Revenge? I played y'all the video of the one dude from TikTok. Now, they eventually ended up taking that dude's video down, but not after he was able to make the call of being violent. And then subsequently, right after that, all of these mass shootings start taking place by people from that T community. As our brother Torian Rain says, Hall T. So, they come from Hall T. You understand? I won't even put that on the rest of the Skittles. I will just say simply that comes from that particular faction. Now, also just pay attention. It's that particular faction that keeps targeting innocent children. And I'm talking about targeting on all different levels. If you start just look at what I'm saying. From all angles. So from violence to a whole nother situation, that movement is being, I guess, the engine of that train, for a lack of better words, the engine in that train that is moving that forward is Hall T. And so you just have to understand what's being pushed there. And yeah, Blueberry Muffin, I'm pretty sure. See, this is what they're doing. And he's not the first. This is like, man, remember I told y'all a few months back, I was like, this almost seems like a planned or like a packed event. The Coven of Hall T. We're going to show the world that we're here. We're going to just start doing sporadic hits. And so here we go. But here, this time is a black man. Well, a black woman. I don't know how they truly identify. Because, if you're seeing some of these pictures, they're making sure this person looks like a man in their mugshot. But is this person how they conduct themselves often? What's with him dressing like a woman? I'm confused. So I don't know. This story is a little all over the place, but then also, again, coming from the area to which this person is coming from, you know, I'm not surprised, really. You know, there's all kind of things going on that people don't know about. And they're talking about the people that was around this guy was questioning his mental state. He was deteriorating or, you know, who knows? But it's just very interesting that they are making sure that this person is being represented as a man. No reference to the community of which, I mean, which, you know, obviously he would be if that's what the case is. So who knows, like, why? I don't know why they're not getting that part out. Like, how did that person identify, though? Just very interesting.
Kim Brady Carricker was in court this morning, charged with 5 counts of murder, 10 counts of attempted murder, weapons, and assault charges. Investigators say he showed signs to family of growing agitation before carrying out this mass shooting in Concessing.
That was the norm for him, wearing this vest and having guns in the house. But they all described that he was becoming more and more agitated over the last couple of days.
Tyreek Glasgow is a mentor and founder of Young Chances Foundation. Today, he mourns the loss of 2 people, the youngest and eldest victims.
It hurts. You know, I'm not gonna go quote him.
His 59-year-old Ralph Morales was excited to walk his daughter down the aisle in her wedding next week.
He was the one that, regardless of any family function, had that smile.
Glasgow was a mentor to 15-year-old DeJuan Brown, killed protecting his 13-year-old brother from gunfire. The younger boy was hit twice in the legs, but will survive.
When he seen his family, his brother in distress shot, he went back to help. And that's what we as a community need to understand, that when we see our other brothers, our community members down, the risk to going back to saving one.
Ooh.
If we all had that approach, I think our community would be in a better position than it is.
Sisters of 31-year-old Joseph Wama Jr., who was killed inside his home during the shooting rampage, describe him as a loving man and a sold it.
I really am.
Something also about this particular situation, and what is going on, our brother Torian Rain Reloaded in the house. I see, brother. Here's the thing for me. When I'm looked into this story, they're really putting a lot of emphasis on his like tie to like guns and he was known to always be walking around in his bulletproof vest. Well, here's the other thing. I can't help but notice that no one is mentioning these cross-dressing pictures. It's very interesting. And this is how it's being reported. They're like staying miles away from that, to be quite honest. I just, can't. Don't miss that. Cult-like personality? I would not think so.
He had the best hugs, and he took care of his family.
Salt and Light Church in Concessing will be hosting an interfaith prayer vigil tonight at 7 p.m. as families continue to mourn the dead. We're live outside of police headquarters. Maggie Kent, Channel 6.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. And like I said, they just keep going on about him. And yet, I'm not getting any understanding about, well, why is this on his social media? And, you know, yeah. Dude, it's not FBA. You can clearly see that dark-skinned brother. Man, you know, strong chance, no. Strong chance, no. You know, I don't know what some of them family lineages features out that way. You know, hey, you got some features that be kind of regions in America, you know. So I don't know. I couldn't say. I can't say. But yeah, I would say a strong chance that that's not a foundation of Black America. But I just can't help but, like, you know, okay, no, why is there no mention of this dude's get down on this? Oh, he was always seen to be with, well, number one, it's a he, so you getting it. It's all gender. He, and he and he, and him and he, him. There's no, like, there's no moving away from making a gendered identity. And this is with the person who got pictures up on social media dressed like a woman. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right. So I'm just saying, maybe there's a little more to this story than meets the eye. Did not mean to make that joke right there, for those who are old enough to even get the reference. Oh, Lord. Robots in disguise. Oh, Lord. Oh, good grief. So anyway, let me get to the other story at hand. What's going on here? Why did my screen just do that? Hold on. Hopefully, okay, we're still there. Oh, hold on. Where's that window? I have to reopen it? All right. Well, oh, wait a minute. What is this? I keep seeing a whole lot of this Pearly Things woman. Vivek, affirmative action cannot fully end unless one executive order is repealed. Boy, this Vivek dude is, he is, this Vivek cat is on a roll. But again, another, hey, you know, it is what it is. He's an Asian dude railing against Black people, and he can't help but be anti-Black. So, I mean, if people like that are not condemned, in which Vivek somewhat lightweight does get condemned in that community, clearly not enough. Clearly not enough. But yeah, he needs to be way more ostracized than what he is. And before I go on to the next, real quick, there was something called Planned Parenthood that was trending on Twitter earlier today. Oh man, I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to be, but Planned Parenthood. I guess they're just gonna take the whole Karen thing. We're gonna embrace it. All right, where is this doggone story at? Okay, so Biden, as I said earlier, Biden's administration has been blocked from interfering with social media. As you've known, that, you know, this administration especially has been very heavy-handed on censoring social media and digital media content creators and scholars and doctors and educators who they didn't agree with. And it was very much being used as a tool coming straight from the White House. All of this censorship and an attack on free speech, that was done under Joe Biden. So I would like to see, that kind of be addressed. And it takes for a court. Now, one thing they're trying to do is this is a Trump appointed judge. That it may be. But is not this an infringement upon, number one, human rights, but the Constitution, the First Amendment of freedom of speech? One of the other things about all of this is you didn't even have freedom of your own body under this administration for a period of time. They were trying to make it that whosoever shall receive a mark from their preferred brand of choice, and made sure that they put this in as many people as they possibly could, and they would quiet and silence any dissenters who had good common sense. And so while they were convincing the simple and weak-minded that somehow, after all of these years of benign neglect, that they convinced you that they have something for you that is for your benefit. You, of all people, should be in the front of the line to receive this great new thing. Because, after all, you are the most affected. Well, hell, we're the most affected by the system of white supremacy. However, Asians actually got a hate crime bill, anti-Asian hate, at the same time crying about affirmative action. Make that make sense. So it's so funny. The sub headline of this. So here's the headline: why the Biden administration is no longer allowed to talk to social media platforms. It goes on to say a Trump-appointed judge just blocked the White House from fighting misinformation, citing free speech concerns. And this comes from Vox. Not Fox, but Vox, V-O-X. And you know how they get down as anything Democrat, super liberal agenda. You know. Sarah Morrison is a senior Vox reporter who has covered data privacy, antitrust, and big tech powers over us all since 2019. It goes on to read that conservatives have complained for years that they have been unfairly banned from social media platforms. Now a federal judge is banning parts of the government from communicating with social media platforms. Judge Terry Doughty, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, a Trump appointee, like that is, now we've already heard that, number one, this is conservative, and this is a Trump appointee. All right, we got it. We got it. Y'all don't like him because he's a Republican. Well, what the hell ever. He issued a preliminary injunction on July 4th as part of a lawsuit over how much involvement the federal government can have with content on social media platforms. It forbids the Biden administration from communicating with those platforms about protected free speech, specifically viewpoint discrimination. Viewpoint discrimination. Now, that is something that definitely applies to us. Understand? And see, here's the thing. When just go with me real quick. During the pandemic, and since Biden's reign of the pandemic, everything that he was trying to do was all about censoring, especially Black voices. So here we want to go back to one thing that they were trying to get involved in. They were using the misinformation campaign, but also using that as a smokescreen for another agenda, which again, of course, is silencing the grassroots. And you have to forgive me, boy, we got poor air quality in my city. So everything is smoky and the air sucks right now. So my voice sounds a little, I don't know, dry. Just bear with me. Oh, goodness. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Just had to take a nice, good swig of ice cold water. Let's see. Discrimination for purposes of trying to remove it, with the judge dramatically saying such actions may constitute the most massive attack against free speech in the United States history. The Biden administration will likely appeal the injunction. I bet they will. It's part of a long-running feud many Republicans have with social media platforms, which they claim disproportionately censor conservative content from what have become public town squares, albeit run by private businesses. Democrats, on the other hand, have complained that social media platforms don't do enough to remove harmful speech, that they go out of their way to favor the right. And that's a joke. That is an absolute joke. And while they're doing all of this political theater crap, making it about the right, making it about the left, Black content creators are the main ones getting censored. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, no, Blueberry Muffin. We got a whole fire in the gorge. So there's a whole wildfire going on, and the smoke is blowing over here. It's so bad. Today, we couldn't even see the mountains. And it was 100 degrees. My goodness. I mean, smoky from we getting all of this wildfire residual smoke, and it's 100 degrees. You can't see the mountains. And if you know anything about Portland, you could see on a clear day quite a few. And you ain't seeing nothing today. So, I mean, it is horrible here right now. It's not as bad as it was in 2017 or 2020, but nonetheless, it is still quite janky. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, it also comes as social media companies have been reducing their trust and safety teams in layoffs, and in the wake of Twitter's takeover by selective free speech absolutist Elon Musk, who has allowed previously banned speech to proliferate on Twitter hold on. Now you've let people on Twitter get by with all types of racist talk. So I guess the forbade speech that he's talking about is talking against the jab, which at this point you convinced mostly everybody to get it and being an experiment for something that you yet have not proven the long-term consequences to. Nonetheless, hey, what do I know? I'm not a scientist or a doctor. But then again, neither is Bill Gates. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Forbidding Government agencies to even communicate with platforms about certain kinds of content removes another potential way for the platforms to mitigate harmful speech, though it also removes any potential pressure those platforms may have felt to comply with the government requests. But those same companies don't have the great track record when left to their own devices, which is a part of why the government has felt the need to step in this way in the first place. You got to be kidding me. You had to step in this way to control what the hell people talk about? I don't think so. Who the hell does old man think he is? This old man who can't even half stay upright when you see him. Turn around and shake the air. All of a sudden, he's trying to tell y'all what you can't say and the opinions that you have and viewpoints that you have should be censored. In the meantime, they're out here pushing rainbow flags with Baphomets on them. Got a whole lot of Satan loving worshiping going on out here, and that's all good. But don't y'all say nothing against. I mean, if this don't sound like then the end times, I don't know what does. I mean, good grief. Y'all just listen to what we say. It's the one world government. At least it's trying to be. Russia said today, by the way, if America would stop funding the Ukraine, the war would be over in weeks. So then here's there's that too. You know, there's that part in the mix as well. Shout out to our sister Miriam in the house. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, yeah. And, you know, down in France, oh, boy, they're lighting France up right now. And, man, it is what it is. It's funny how I heard this afternoon in the news that I guess the people in France are trying to, well, not people, but I guess powers that be in France are suggesting that, hey, these people need to be arrested, and they're talking about the protesters, and they need to be getting hit with felonies, and they need to be getting hit with long sentences, and they need to be, strong punishment. It's like, wow, really? Y'all sound like these people over here, but we tell you, this is a global situation. It's a global situation, family. You know, I know some people think they might be able to go here or there and escape. But no, you're dealing with a system that is global. Jacqueline Jackson in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Paris or France or Paris? I'm not sure where that is over there that's on fire. I am not quite certain. So it goes on to say, the case began with Republican Attorney General of Missouri and Louisiana, along with a few private parties who they feel were unfairly banned from by the platform, sued the Biden administration last year, accusing the federal government of colluding with social media companies to censor political or politicized speech. Such allegations have been a years-long complaint from the right. Not just the right, but from all of us. See, here's another thing that they keep trying to make this about left or right. But truth be told, where does Reza Islam sit in that left or right conversation, since it was the Biden administration that put that brother on the information, but misinformation dozen or whatever? I mean, let's just put that in perspective. With the help of your interference of social media. So with this, like you putting a target on that man's back. coming straight from the White House. That's a cold piece because he's talking to black folks. And again, let's remember what that letter to Margaret Sanger was about. What Margaret Sanger say to the doctor? We're going to use the black preachers because we would not want it to get out that we are trying to exterminate the Negroes. She did not say we don't want the wrong impression out there that we are trying to exterminate the Negroes. No, we are going to use deception and the tactics of this is good because the preacher said so tactics. And if it comes from them, then they'll never start questioning mommy and daddy and say, well, the pastor said it was all right, because they would never want it to get out to us dissidents and militants over here that they were trying to exterminate the Negroes. Fast forward to that very woman's nephew who had this man make things mandatory and censor all of these people who would talk against it just as much as our good brother Reza Islam. And while also in putting Reza Islam's name out there in such a horrible light, we also seen them trying to take stabs at Louis Farrakhan. They were going at Minister Farrakhan for what he did. And what did he do? Told people, don't take it. And so they went and vilified him. He's an anti-Semitic and blah, 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 blah. Well, he told a few things on that Criterion speech. And he said a pestilence. I think as it was a planned pestilence. But truth be told, the pestilence that plagues this land is, I think, even far more closer to home than we would like to say and admit, because it's the truth is right in front of you. So that true pestilence, that is a system of absolute destruction and has never been any good for black folks. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, we have to recognize all of these people, especially who would try to take this and say, this is a bad thing for us. No, the hell it is not. Because us over here in the new black media, the grassroots, we're also extremely censored and targeted. Some of you have to have multiple accounts because they don't like what you post. And so then they'll turn your, they'll shut your channel down or shut your page down. Then you got to start a whole new page. So, this is how they do. You know what I'm saying? And so it affects us into that regard. So let's see. That's not cracking down on misinformation. Okay, yeah. Such allegations have been in years long complaints about the right, picked up steam during the pandemic when social media platforms became more aggressive in cracking down on health misinformation. Yeah, whatever. The temporary censored content related to a laptop that belonged to then presidential candidate Biden's son Hunter a few weeks before the election has also been a particular source of ire for the Republicans. Now, here's another thing that we found out about that laptop situation with Hunter Biden. They were blocking prosecution. Now, I don't know about you, but you're blocking prosecution on something like that, and now you got cocaine at the White House. I mean, you really officially turned the White House into the rock house. Mr. Crack is Whack himself got crack in the building. Oh no. Oh, you can't make this up. This is hilarious. I mean, now, and this is Joe Biden's son. Oh, well, I mean, we don't know who left that the powder, you know, who left the outer up there on the ground. So I mean, it wasn't like, oh man, you know, somebody threw it over the fence. No, you know it didn't. Where y'all found it. That's why they're not even speculating on no dumb crap like that. No. Yeah, now what are we gonna do now? Once we know we got that China white, that Colombian Bam Bam up there. What y'all doing up there at the White House? Oh boy, they getting it in up at that White House, ain't they? Woo-wee. Hunter Biden was like, man, it's the 4th of July. He was on the phone with his Connect Light. Oh man. Oh, so in the midst of this dude worrying about trying to censor black folks, and he's put the crack is whack bill out there, you know, and it backfired. It definitely backfired on him. But with that being said, I don't want y'all to ever get the situation confused. We are not supporters of any kind of Donald Trump. That's not what we into here. But, and when I say we ain't no supporters of Donald Trump, I definitely mean that. However, let me show you but we are not. Because see, when people say that, well, y'all only be going at Joe Biden and whatnot. Look, what we are not is about one party or another. So don't get us in the grassroots confused with people like this.
They're fighting real, and there's a lot of people that know what happened. Everybody, we all know Trump won.
Whew. Lord. Oh, she was just way too happy to see that man, wasn't she? Oh my Lord. I'll play it for y'all one more time.
When they're fighting real, and there's a lot of people that know what happened. Everybody, we all know Trump won.
Yes. Who is that back there? Yes. You don't stop. Lord. Now, let me show you how people are reacting to this new this new judgment that just happened.
On what exactly the FBI, I think, most essentially is able to do. And I think that, you have to take a step back and acknowledge what the reality is about how the FBI has been interacting with this. And just look at January 6th itself, for example, right? It's not as though the FBI has been going in and saying, hey, take down this post, hey, take down this post. That's what they're alleging, but there's just not a lot of evidence to support that. And basically, we've had a situation where some politicians are making any contact between social media companies and the FBI or law enforcement seem problematic in some way. And if you look at the reality, it's like the FBI is not very good at monitoring social media. Just look at what happened on January 6th. There are all of these warning signs, red flags going up all over the place, and they were.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. There are rappers getting. Casanova just got hit with a RICO charge. 15 years. You got Young Thug hit with a RICO charge. Yep. And you got Bobby Shmurda hit with a RICO charge. Even R. Kelly. You know, you even got him with a RICO charge. I think you hit him with like 2. And he get hit with RICO charge. I'm not even sure. What I know, one of them is RICO charge. But if I remember correctly, he might actually have 2 in 2 different states. So, I mean, come on, man. Oh, I mean, they were picking, you know, they're using those RICO charges absolutely correct. Because here's another thing. You absolutely have evidence of them colluding and all of this. And there's no RICO charge whatsoever. I mean, because you mean to tell me that every last one of the insurrectionists were upstanding citizens, that none of them were criminals and none of those were in illicit businesses? You would have to be a fool to believe that.
Prepared. They didn't do enough. They did not take proper precautions or instruct other law enforcement agencies to make proper precautions. So I think that that's the framework you have to remember that this is important to look by. I mean, this opinion, this 155-page opinion, starts off with essentially a big if true comment. It says, okay, if these things are true, this is one of the biggest First Amendment abuses in American history. And I suppose so, if it were true, but that's not necessarily where the facts are lining up with and what exactly the evidence shows that social media companies, how they were interacting with at least the FBI.
Danny, I wonder when you were in law school, if you started off one of your arguments with, if this is true.
If this is true. Too funny. Too dadgum funny. Lord. Cold-like personality said, I don't know what drill music is, but are they non-FBAs? For the most part, the drill music thing is, yeah, that's some other stuff. I mean, when you really start digging into the origins of how all of that stuff is starting to come about, you would probably find that you might be getting into more conspiracy talk than you think, at least as it would be classified. You know what I'm saying? What the hell? Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh Lord. Okay. The gift that just keeps on giving. I'll get to that in a sec, but let me get this up here. Let me get this next video up here. Let me see this one here. I wanna go over this one real quick. Because I want to play just how the talking heads of the lamestream media, the live stream media, I want to know how they're taking this hands-off social media judgment being handed down against the Biden administration. Let's see what they're talking about.
98-0 by the Senate. Just reading the words in this injunction, a, quote, massive effort by the defendants to suppress speech based on content, those are the judge's words, calling the present case, quote, arguably involves the most massive attack against free speech in the United States history, Ellie.
Yeah. Yeah, you had the misinformation dozen, did you not? Let me see. Come from, let me see. The misinformation. Disinformation dozen. Yeah, let's hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me share this screen because I want to go back to what they just said. I'm gonna replay this real quick, and then I'm gonna cut to this little story.
Injunction, a, quote, massive effort by the defendants to suppress speech based on content, those are the judge's words, calling the present case, quote, arguably involves the most massive attack against free speech in the United States history, Ellie.
Yeah. It's a dramatic decision by this judge. If you read through it, he's citing to literature and George Washington and Ben Franklin. Here's what really is astonishing to me. This is a conservative ideology that clearly comes through in this decision. It's a conservative political.
Okay. Glad you took it there, buddy. So here is an article from NPR. Just 12 people are behind most vaccine hoaxes on social media, research shows. Researchers are, oh wait, there's actually, is there, what is this? Is this okay, let's play this. Let me hear what this says.
In the fight to persuade skeptics to get COVID-19 vaccine shots, public health officials face a big hurdle: anti-vaccine claims, many of which come from a handful of influential social media figures. NPR's Shannon Bond reports.
This problem is nothing new to people who track misinformation. Many misleading claims and outright lies about COVID vaccines mirror what's been said about other vaccines. John Gregory is deputy health editor at NewsGuard.
You know, it's almost like conspiracy theory Mad Libs. They just inserted the new claims.
And it's not just the claims that are familiar, it's who is making them. Just 12 people, dubbed the Disinformation Dozen, are responsible for the bulk of anti-vaccine content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, researchers found. Imran Ahmed is CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, which identified these figures.
The Disinformation Dozen produced 65% of the shares of anti-vaccine misinformation on social media platforms. They're producing the most shared content.
Some focus on natural health, some sell supplements and books, and many have long spread scientifically disproven medical claims and conspiracies. Wow. And they're still doing it now, proving how hard it is to stop hoaxes on social media. Ahmed says the claims they make about COVID come straight from the anti-vaccination playbook.
Denying that COVID exists, claiming that false cures are in fact the way to solve COVID and not vaccination, decrying vaccines and decrying doctors as being in some way venal or motivated by other factors when they recommend vaccines.
Lawmakers and state regulators have urged Facebook and Twitter to ban all 12 accounts. A note, Facebook is among NPR's financial supporters. The companies have stepped up the fight. They've labeled posts, even removed falsehoods, and banned people who repeatedly shared debunked claims. Still, the Disinformation Dozen are easy to find on social media. Ahmed says sometimes they skirt the platform's rules by using codes.
So, for example, instead of saying vaccine, they may, in a video, hold up the V sign with their fingers and say, if you're around someone who has been hold up V sign, you know, X might happen to you.
Or they...
Now, what now, here's what happens. See, CNN is up here. They're doing their jobs. They're here to frame it, but pay attention. These people now this is NPR in what is that, March 14, 2021. They're telling you that all the people and the people on this disinformation panel. I mean, are you kidding? The disinformation doesn't, those those aren't like idiots that they have on that panel. These are scholars, doctors, scientists. It's not just some crackpots that are coming out here saying, hey, we don't agree with what you're saying. And they're just trying to say that this is so dismissive of intelligent beings that, I mean, it's amazing. Let's go on.
Cute.
Or they take something true and distort it, like falsely linking a famous person's death to the fact they got a vaccine days or weeks earlier. Facebook says it now limits the reach of posts that could discourage people from getting vaccinated, even if they don't explicitly break its rules. Some of the disinformation doesn't have toned down their posts, but the cat and mouse game continues. Take anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You know, I have to post like unicorns and kitty cat pictures on there. I can't post anything. It doesn't matter how true it is.
Facebook, which owns Instagram, kicked Kennedy off the photo sharing app in February, but he's still on Facebook. There, he advertises his website and newsletter, where he makes claims that would break Facebook's rules if posted there. Kennedy told NPR he's never posted misinformation and accused Facebook of censorship. He says the crackdown has sapped his ability to raise donations.
It's cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Even as the social media companies have gotten tougher recently, researchers worry the persistence of these hoaxes will further erode confidence among people who are already hesitant about the COVID vaccines. That's especially concerning as shots roll out for kids 12 and up. Jessica Calarco is a sociologist at Indiana University. She's found more than a quarter of parents don't plan to vaccinate their kids.
So many of these moms are turning to Facebook, are turning to Twitter, are turning to other social media platforms. And they're saying, every time I open my phone, I see something different.
Like stories about bad side effects. Even some parents who have been giving.
Now, okay. Is everything said about what they believe? I mean, just listen to what these people are saying. And this is a reporter for NPR. It's not like she's no doggone scientist. The hell does she know? And the way it's being reported, it's like it's very snobbish, like as if to say, oh, well, you know, y'all don't have no intelligence like us and smart, intelligent people over here. So because we're so smart and we're so intelligent over here, then you just don't, you know, you just really don't have a clue to what's going on because, you know, you're minuscule thinking and, you know, I'm just so grand and you're not, you know. I mean, yeah, people be like that, you know, not that that's cool, but people do get like that. And this is just very pompous of them to really address all of these scholars and doctors like they just Rudy Poots. I can't help but, you know, notice the fact that, like, it's like, oh, okay, well, we don't have to have any respect for these people. And that ain't cool. That ain't cool at all. You know, but that's how they playing it.
Who have been giving their kids routine childhood vaccines said they're unsure about COVID jabs.
And those kinds of social media-based reports are, in many mothers' minds, kind of weighed equally against the kinds of expert medical recommendations coming out of things like the CDC.
And that could make it hard to push down infection rates. Shannon Bond, NPR News.
Oh.
And now more from.
Okay. So now just think about what they're saying. Okay, so there's the disinformation dozen. And what they're trying to sell you on is, oh man, you know, man, like the Biden administration is losing somehow, that they will not be able to over censor the people. This is amazing.
Right. We saw some of the quotes questioning vaccines, questioning masks, conservative talking points. But the ruling itself is the opposite of judicial conservatism.
Most of those people on that are not conservative. And mind you, Kennedy, who's also on that same list, is running for president of the United States as a Democrat. So how in the same breath do you now start saying, well, these are conservative right-wing talking points? Look at how they keep trying to make this a party thing. No, it's a people thing, because these here are people. None of these people are party. These people got fingered by the White House, not the party, these people. So why now are you talking party crap rhetoric? The hell does that have to do with it now?
This is one of the most aggressive, far-reaching rulings you'll ever see. What this judge is purporting to do is to micromanage, really, the day-to-day interactions between essentially the entire executive branch, all these agencies that are listed as defendants, and the leading social media companies. And in the actual temporary injunction, the judge basically says, you're not allowed, administration, to talk to these social media companies about any protected free speech except for cybersecurity threats, national security threats, criminal threats. But where?
Yeah. I mean, now listen to what they're arguing about. And so, okay, what is the problem? What is the problem about what they cannot control? See, y'all need to start understanding, when you start seeing people talking like this, there's a reason. There's a for real reason. Lord.
Where's the line? Who's going to police this?
Oh my Lord. Who is going to police this? See, all of a sudden now they're worried about control. Well, because one of the jobs of the media is to control the minds of the masses. So what they're saying is, if people on social media have carte blanche to talk to their audience unimpeded, well, then that makes us irrelevant. Blackjack in the house and all eyes on us in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
A federal judge says the Biden administration may have violated the First Amendment during the pandemic by censoring social media posts. Justice correspondent David Spun reports live from the D.C. newsroom. David, what can you tell us?
Hi, Jillian. This is a temporary injunction, not a final ruling. However, this temporary injunction could have major implications on free speech. It came down today on a federal holiday from a federal judge in Louisiana. Judge Terry Doughty blocked officials and agencies in the Biden administration from communicating with social media companies, think Facebook, Google, Twitter, about the topic of protected speech. Judge Doughty is based on a prior lawsuit brought by Republican attorneys general in Louisiana and Missouri. He ruled on that. Among other complaints, the attorneys general say the Biden administration overreached its authority during the height of the COVID pandemic when they tried to convince social media companies to address, in some case, take down posts on platforms that could contribute to vaccine hesitancy. Now, according to
Now, I'll keep going back to that. These aren't no slouches. And they're trying to present these individuals as they're some kind of crackpots. And I mean, just think of some of the people who have disappeared or have came up deceased that was railing against the jab. You know what I'm saying? And so it's almost like, oh man, the control and knowing that we can suppress these voices at any moment that we want to. We'll just go to the Democratic Party and say, hey, silence this group of people. And that's been temporarily halted. And rightfully so. Good. The plaintiffs have presented substantial evidence in support of their claims that they were the victims of a far-reaching and widespread censorship.
To Judge Dottie, quote, the plaintiffs, meaning the attorneys general, have presented substantial evidence in support of their claims that they were the victims of a far-reaching and widespread censorship campaign. This court finds that they are likely to succeed on the merits of their First Amendment free speech claim against the defendants being the Biden administration. Now the administration, as have administrations in recent years, developed close relationships, Jillian, with social media companies. Sometimes those relationships are hot and cold, depending on the topic, but the administration also, the independent FBI and DOJ, are in frequent contact with these social media companies, especially covering the DOJ. I see it with fentanyl and other types of trafficking. They reach out frequently to these social media companies. We'll have to see how that all plays into the future now that this judge has ruled this in.
Well, looking for and researching drugs, again, I don't believe that falls under the categories here. So I don't know why you would make that reference, because I think they just made that abundantly clear on what the limit to the conversations could be. So again, you keep trying to get around that, and there really is no getting around it, dude. But now they're going to try to make it something that it's not. So make sure you make sure you don't miss that, because clearly that's what they're trying to, man, you just got to watch these folks. Simply put, you just got to keep a sharp eye on. So again, censorship is having a setback. And as you see, people are unhappy, and I believe they're unhappy not because, because the pandemic then came and went. So is it really about the pandemic? You understand what I'm saying? Is it really about that, or is it about something else? Let me know. Okay, get that in there. Okay, hopefully that picture loaded. So let me get this last little story in here. All right, there we go. So before we go, y'all remember I did a story on him not too long ago. This is the governor of North Carolina. Very staunch coon. He's the dude that came out saying how I think we should apologize to white folks, or we should thank white people, and we owe white people slavery, some other sort. Y'all remember I played this fool before. Well, he has found a way to stick his foot in his mouth again. So let's see what this dunce had to say. This line reads, Southern hospitality. These days, finding people who have good manners is not exactly easy as you might think. It is a rarity to have someone hold the door open for you or wait for you to exit the elevator. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is this right? Hold on. No, I don't think this is the right story. Wait a minute. I don't know why I just keep jumping to another story. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. This is wrong. Here it is. North Carolina Lieutenant Governor tells Moms for Liberty it's time to start reading Hitler quotes. That's literally the headline. North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson told a Philadelphia audience on Sunday that dictators like Hitler and Mayo are being taken out of context and that their texts were worth reconsidering. Robinson was one of the several speakers, including 2024 presidential candidate Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Nikki Haley at the second annual Summit for Moms for Liberty, which I guess that's what they were calling Planned Parenthood or Planned Karenhood. A parents' right group that the Southern Poverty Law Center recently deemed a political extremist organization. Boy, they just get to label anybody they want to, don't they? I think in this situation, they're actually probably right. But nonetheless, that is not a power that just one group should solely hold and have. I'm just saying. Anyway, and here's the thing. Whether you are talking about Adolf Hitler, whether you are talking about Chairman Mao, whether you are talking about Stalin, whether you are talking about Pol Pot, whether you are talking about Castro in Cuba, or whether you're talking about a dozen other depots all around the globe, or despots. So let's see. It is time for us to get back and start reading some more of those quotes. Robinson said, who has previously called communism a greater threat to the world than Nazism, said the figures, most of whom were communists. Robinson's remarks were not the first time he or Moms for Liberty have cited Hitler. The North Carolina official who assumed office in 2021 has a history of spewing anti-Semitic, anti-Black, and homophobic rhetoric online. Talking point, now see, well, you make sure when they point out anti-Black right after anti-Semitic, that means, hey, Black folks, this one bothers y'all too. So, I mean, man, he be saying crazy stuff about y'all too. Don't you want to help us get this Negro? I think you got enough groups over here that got it. Talking Points memo in a deep report into the last 7 years of Robinson's Facebook activity, discovered he posted false claims about the 2020 election, conspiracy theories, and Holocaust denialism. 2 weeks ago, Moms for Liberty also came under fire after an Indiana chapter included a quote from Hitler in its newsletter. Though the group issued an apology and at first attempting to justify their inclusion of the quote by adding context, they removed it altogether after receiving a barrage of criticism. Is that it? I guess that's the end of the article. Well, boy, this dude just keeps the biscuits coming. He's tasting the biscuits. Taste the goodness of the biscuits with that honey sauce. We ain't got the honey sauce over here. But what we do have for you, super coon Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, we have a big fat bottle of
Sambo.
Lord. When you hear dudes talking like that, you ought to know what time it is. And before we go, family, I just want y'all to see your girl, and they roll her back out. This woman can't, she can't lie her way out of a wet paper bag if she had garden shears in her hand. I mean, she is atrocious. So again, let me just show you when they struck down affirmative action. This is her response.
The very people who claim to care about the health of women and babies are the same people who do not treat the maternal mortality crisis as the crisis it is. In hypocrisy, just consider, over half of the counties in Georgia, Oklahoma, and Texas have no OBGYN. I did not say a few. I said none, not one. We must also understand the larger context. This fight is not only about the people of one particular state. These extremists plan to take their agenda national.
Lord. And you know, the funny thing about her is she'll literally start talking about one subject, and just it's almost like clockwork. She's gonna start talking about abortion. I mean, and then like the same thing, the other thing she's out here doing. So again, her response to affirmative action for some strange reason is to start interjecting like that whole abortion thing. And then what's the other thing that she keeps doing? She keeps talking about, what is it, pride is patriotism. So she's making these real weird correlations. I mean, I guess it's something to pay attention to, because obviously it's not happening for no reason. But I just can't help but noticing when you ask Kamala Harris about one subject right now, she's going to divert to talking about abortion, and she's also going to be talking about like pride and the Skittles community and rights for them. She's going to immediately turn directly into that conversation. So notice that. It's like it's real weird. She keeps doing it. Like, if you go down her timeline, like, y'all think I'm playing, just go down and read her timeline on the day that the affirmative action was done away with. It was very much a big pivot. She starts talking about one thing and then starts championing pride is patriotism. It's like, what are you talking about? Well, in July, and this month, like, you got a whole Pride Month. Now you done jumped into the next month, and then the conversation ain't got nothing to do with black folks. But this woman is nuts. And the fact that people even rock with this woman is amazing to me. This woman is nuts, y'all. So for those of y'all who really, really think that you got anything coming out of a Kamala Harris,
I'm not always going to only talk about what we can do for black people.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So y'all better understand, because those of us over here, we understand that a lot of the censorship that has been going on has been against us. And then, because how do we know? Because all of the people that they will, especially when they say black folks, and when they'll start presenting them, well, the first question that we have to ask them is what?
Where's your family from?
And that's a big fact. That's the first question at hand. Where's your family from? And then on top of that, well, hey, brother, we are black, man. We are black, brother. I mean, see, every melanin person is the same, and we all the same. No. Yeah. Oh, Lordy me. Oh, let me see. Is there anything else I got to show y'all before I get out of here? Oh. Okay. Let me show you some things right here. I'm gonna leave the audio off because I ain't trying to get no strike. But I don't know what the hell is going on here. Let me get that sound off there. I'll turn that sound off. But yeah, I see we don't need to start setting the wrong trends, and by letting too much go on, some trends just don't need to be trends. Y'all understand? And so when we start getting out here letting stuff like this go on, I mean, now I'm assuming that this was supposed to be like a joke or a spoof of some sort. But nonetheless, it's not really cute or cool. Hey man, this type of thing is not happening. I mean, what the hell is going on out here? Now again, like I said, this might be a jokey spoof or something. I hope. One could hope. I believe it's comical. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a joke. But I'm just saying, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I mean, not to mention where the whole Essence Fest has went down the damn tubes. You know, it is absolute trash now in a major way. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Oh, let me get this real quick, though. Let me play this before I go. Because, yeah, this is a little interesting TikTok video here. Yeah. Let me get this. Okay. All right. Hold on 1 second, family. You get this. Well, I get that back on the screen. Didn't realize I had it in the black. Hold on. All right, let's get this up in here. And this is a very and it kind of speaks to the mind state that the dominant society kind of likes black folks to be in, or at least how you are willing to allow yourself to be presented. You understand what I'm saying? And man, check this out.
My name is Ida Schultz. I'm third generation from slavery. I live in Philadelphia. I received my public school education here. I went to college and graduated in home economics education. Answering President Kennedy's call, I went on into the Peace Corps, serving there for 2 years in the mountain community of Pisac, Cusco, Peru. So many people ask me, why have you become so bitter? You've been given everything that any young American could ask for. Well, the whole thing is, just because I've been given everything, it doesn't mean that I should be satisfied. As a matter of fact, I've become very disgusted knowing that my own black sisters and brothers have not had the same opportunity. I feel as though I've been used again. I feel as though you bought another token. And what I'm disgusted and tired of is tokenism. You say, well, you know, if you're nice, we'll let you live next door to us. And if this happens, we'll do this. Well, what I'm asking for you to do is to stop doing us so many favors. The only thing that we want is not your friendship, is not your love, is not to live next door to you, but we want to know if we should so desire to do this, the opportunity is there.
Now see, they want that person to be a token. But what they don't want is women speaking how she's speaking. See, she went through the whole rigmarole of playing her role, playing her position, keeping her head down, not making any waves, not making trouble. And something inside of her said, that ain't it. That ain't it. And shout out to her. Because again, if you have fallen into the pitfalls of tokenism, then, you know, obviously, you know that you can be redeemed too. But you just have to do this first.
Own your stuff, little girl. Own it.
And also, you know, you have to understand that you don't want to be around folks that want to push wrong agendas on you, like Pan-Africanism. Like when people come around and ask you questions like, hey, brother, what makes one black?
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Or, you know, hey, man, you know, when you gonna come over here and help me with what I'm doing over here? So put your thing aside to help me get my thing down. Man, if you ain't helping me, then you ain't down for black people, brother. And when I see stuff like that, like, no.
You shade tree nigga.
Like, you know, people trying to pick fake internet beefs or fights to get attention and clout. Well, you know, I can say I've seen some things recently, and I'll leave that where it is. But all I can say is if a man addresses a man for what he sees, then a man's response should not be a deflection to what no one sees. That is a very convenient, slick way of running away from the truth. And like I said, yeah, I'll just leave that one where it is. But, you know, man, there's a lot of energy of what I will call beta male simpington. And, you know, sometimes things will feel good at the moment. It's not how they are now. It's how they all plays out at the end. And if this ends up being you or not.
Every time I have always played the fool.
But just on a strong word of advice, when someone says, especially a woman says, well, yeah, sure. Most likely. I mean, as soon as you gave it to me, I put it on my hand. Sure. Of course. What do they know? Don't worry about them. Look over here. Boop. Oh, boy. Let's just hope it doesn't end like this. float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You're going to end up crashed out if you can't see where you are simping. Oh, Lord. Anyway. Good grief. Good grief. Cult-like personality. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mankind, kind of man, came from scarcity, ice age. Came across those with abundance and will always be jealous. It's their crawl. And you are absolutely correct. So thank you so much again for the super chat. Cult-like personality, peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on you and yours. You understand? Yes, indeed. Much, much love to you. And so with that being said, we got a lot of people upset that censoring is being hindered. And because here's the deal. If you hindering censoring on that level, then it also prohibits you being involved to kind of be in a back room to have a conversation of your real target. So I find that to be a win. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, pretty soon you'll start seeing people talking against lineage. Yeah, you better believe it. You'll start seeing people talking against lineage. And this is what we have to say about that. Hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
And it's a trip how everybody keep trying to get their hands on. Man, let me get some of the reparations, man. Come on, man. Why can't I get some of y'all reparations? What y'all gonna do with all that money? I mean, you ain't ready to do. What you need is to build institutions. So what you need to do is shoot money to my fund, and then we can do some things. See, now, I mean, y'all gonna just be stingy with the money. I mean, go on now. Oh, Lord. Oh, man, there is one other video. Where are you at? I could have sworn I downloaded this video, too. Hold on. Y'all, that, oh, man, what's that woman's name? Karen Hunter? That Karen Hunter woman. She's somebody to keep an eye on. She's just looking a little funny style nowadays. I mean, I guess really, truth be told, she really already was, but yeah. That's what I wanted. Right there. There it is. I could have sworn I already downloaded it. But, she had the gray car cat on there. And Greg Carr, he new black media hater, because every chance he gets, he's saying something slick. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting because he really has a bug in his ass. Oh man, you lineage people and y'all talking about lineage, y'all don't know nothing, and y'all act like y'all. He's doing the whole everybody's stupid but him. It's like, oh, okay, you're on that tip, buddy. Well, a problem with that is there's no longevity there. How much can you tell people they're stupid and they don't know as much as you? And hey, I ain't gonna skate around the law. Like, nigga, please. Let me get this over here. I sworn I had this joker too. Shit, my screen. So whiny Negro. Whiny Negro, Greg Carr. Negro just as sassy as he want to be. Here we go. Oh, where let me get that off here. Just about out of here, but let me just play this last little clip for y'all.
See, this is the trick, and this is where, unfortunately, all my friends who are really falling in love with this idea that somehow they're going to trick 250 years of U.S. constitutional law by saying lineage instead of race, and ain't nobody gonna see what they doing. I can't wait for the white person to show up to say my great grandfather was enslaved. Give me a check. And when these lineage Negroes show up and say you can't get one, and then the court say, "Aha, we knew you were losing lineage as the proxy." Y'all so.
Now, that's where he's wrong. Lineage is lineage. Again, lineage doesn't change based on your shade of pigment. And I'm sure there's a lot of shallow, dense people that would think that, but no, your lineage, depending on how you've been mixing down your line, your bloodlines, especially if you have family lines. I mean, hell, especially if in the lines of your family name. So if you know that these people came from this person, then yeah, what they were doing was, of course, having a bunch of interracial marriages along the way. So certain lineages have definitely lightened up. So that much is true. But what this dude is trying to say to some random white man just going to be able to show up, no, they're going to have to be able to still prove lineage, dude. So if they can successfully prove lineage, who is there now to deny and then act like our claim is now somehow invalid because somebody with white skin has a lineage tied to a plantation? See what this Negro's doing? And he's too smart for that. He's a so-called doctor, but he's trying to do low-minded slick talk while talking condescending to black folks. Damn you, Greg Carr.
Grandfather was enslaved. Give me a check. And when these lineage Negroes show up and say you can't get one, and then the court say, "Aha, we knew you were losing lineage as the proxy." Y'all so. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just saying you should know something about the law before you start telling people that how much you know about the law. But again, Twitter, you can't get all that a few characters unless you get a blue check, at which point you reinforce the fact that this ain't even about us. But see, this is the trick.
Wow. Greg Carr. Greg Carr. You get one of these. Sambo. Ooh-wee. And one of these.
Shuffling and scratching and bootlicking.
Because what you wanted to do is to come running out for the Pan-African squad, and that whole little plot has failed. You had nothing in your mind but to be in the way of our claims. Lineage Negroes, lineage. Because why is he so upset about lineage? I ask why he's upset. And by the way, Greg Carr.
Where's your family from?
And when it's all said and done, remember why nobody will actually be able to rock with you, because you're too busy doing all that extra. And like you just said right there, all these other people's intelligence level is so much less than yours. So when things start to, when the tides turn and all of that, don't act like, well, hey, man, can't we all get along and this and that?
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. Let it fall and let us rise. And you dig it. Ooh-wee. So these people have once again fallen into the pitfalls of censorship setbacks. And in this case, another setback for the Biden administration's plans. They've promised student loan debt cancellation. That kaputted. George Floyd Policing Act, nowhere to be found. The Lift Every Voice plan? That was actually Kamala's that Joe Biden later adopted for himself and still didn't do anything with. So we are seeing the one thing that he was proactive about was making sure that Black people knew that they needed to run down to the spot, go roll up their sleeve, and not ask no questions about what's in the infusion. You just stick out your arm and take the infusion. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? So, and also, don't ever forget, this too is Joe Biden.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't Black.
Jeez. Lord. So, again, there's going to be a lot of people around here that are simply going to be trying to disrupt our agenda. And now there is a monkey wrench into blatant DNC interference with our communications with one another here on the grassroots level of things. And so that is a good thing. So let's just keep an eye on this. And let's follow who is actually bothered by this. Take notes of all of those individuals who is complaining that somehow Joe Biden not being able to silence you on your social media for your opinion somehow is giving you too much authority. Well, if that's the case, where does that end? That's a slippery slope. And act like we haven't heard that before. Well, we definitely have. And now you got Black men out there throwing out things like, we should start reading Hitler quotes. But this Black man is known to be anti-Black, which I'm wondering if this person out there, the shooter out there in Philadelphia, has also demonstrated anti-Black sentiments. So let's not get it twisted that we see Black skin. Because I just showed you Mark, whatever his name is. He's as Black as they come, and he can't stand Negroes. So this dude, and not to mention the confession of the Philadelphia shooter. Do you know what he told police? This dude literally said he was making the neighborhood better, like cleaning up the streets on some vigilante stuff. So you're blowing away Black folks trying to clean up the streets. So I have a strong idea that this Black man is one of those anti-Black haughty individuals who, I would assume if they weren't, it's summertime, so there's no open school. So what did you do? You waited for gatherings for fun. And then come and unload on unsuspecting individuals. So again, not having my tinfoil fedora on, but you might want to just look at these things a little deeper. I'm just saying. So for those of you who believe that we over here at the grassroots, like Reza Islam and all of the disinformation that's been targeted and labeled as this or that, because see, here's been a whole lot of things going on from a certain area unimpeded. You've been able to call people anti-Semitic without any discussion of it being true or not. It's just one way accusatory. It's so and it's true because I'm something and I say so. because they like to say they're not white. But as long as it pertains to foundational Black Americans, we make no distinction of your religion, because all we see is who you actually promote and who you consistently support. So that still just makes you white. So for those of you who believe that we should be losing, and oh man, we're not going to be able to censor these people, so we're going to have this, but we can't do anything, and you're just going to let these Negroes still keep talking? Well, yes, they have to. But here's the situation. If you believe that you absolutely can get in our way and stop us, well, let me tell you that you have another thing coming. And so much so that I would have to say, from me, myself, Beatzilla PDX official, those of us here at the Beatzilla PDX official show, those of us here at the chat, the grassroots, the voices of new Black media, the new Black media, I am safe to say that I speak for all of these people when we tell you we will not have our empowerment censored. And if you still think that you can shut our empowerment down, well, this song is for you.
If you get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack, if you get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, family, yes, indeed. Y'all can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket by way of a donation and support this broadcast channel, you can definitely do so by way of CashApp. That's $Beatzillapdx. That is CashApp, $Beatzillapdx. And we also have PayPal, which is Zilla Music. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And we have a super chat. That's another way that you can also support this broadcast. We have super thanks as well for those of you who are watching the replay. Thank you so much. And for cult-like personality, animal, savage, beast, sit down at the table, face us, FBAs. Now, I know that's right. U.S. FBAs, cowards. And I don't think they will. Well, actually, you know what? I can't say that, because that's what we're doing. We are forcing the issue of our empowerment. Simple and plain. So shout out to you, co-like personality. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on you and yours. So much appreciative of that. So with that being said, family, we're about to get ready to get on out of here. We will be back here Friday for the weekly wrap up. And, you know, always remember who Joe Biden is.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Yeah, I don't really feel that idea. And by the way, hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
So with that being said, family, y'all stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is,
yes, sir,
You don't have to kill him, no. The stone of truth. See, that's what you throw.
Right.
Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knocked out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.